Hey everybody, welcome to PlaneForge. We are a bunch of nerds that like to play D&D. We've got two newbie players that have never played before. So let's just go around and introduce ourselves, starting at the top.
All right, well, I'm CJ. I'll be playing Siler Sanderwick. Hopefully well, but, you know, we play for fun. So when it's bad, it's fine.
Right. The only one working who's actually played before out of the three of you. And let's go
Indeed.
clockwise.
Next!
Is that me?
Yep.
Okay, I have to check my clock. Hey,
Time to
I'm
go,
Brian.
clock.
I've never played D&D before. Never wanted to, but this seemed like it could be funny, so I decided to.
So, the best reason to play.
And what's your character in?
Oh, I'm Jarrett Brockbreaker,
Alrighty.
and I'm very tall. Ladies.
Yeah, like, I mean, you...
No ladies are watching this.
I mean, there are plenty of female nerds out there.
Not watching this. This is the ugliest podcast on the
Never
internet.
when you need one, though. I mean,
All right.
They're all fake. So that brings it to me. My name is Jordan. I will be playing Joran Cyrinel.
Super creative.
I've never played the game before, but I guess it sounds fun, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, and I am Aaron. I am your DM. And yeah, I am the one who's going to be putting these poor sods through the nightmare. So let's go ahead and introduce this particular campaign is homebrew, and it's going to be called the Defiant Brotherhood. And it is going to take place in a homebrew world called Zenerel. Now, Zenerel is a flourishing land, but ruled by a corrupt circle of kings, queens, and nobles. Each major human city, dwarven kingdom, and high elf province has leaders that grab for power and disregard the little people. The representatives of the United Zenerel Assembly are all about money, power, and vices. The poor are poorer than ever, and the rich are drowning in gold. The only way for someone to gain social standing and climb out of the dregs is through adventuring and heroism. There's one specific adventuring firm... Yes.
How do you drown in gold? It seems like a solid item.
Have you ever seen, what is it, DuckTales?
DuckTales?
woohoo!
Yeah, with Uncle Scrooge or whatever his name
Oh, yeah. Where he's like swimming in his money.
is, swimming his
Or like
gold.
any classic cartoon ever that has to do with money.
Come on, Brian, get with the time.
This isn't a cartoon.
Okay, it's a figure of speech. This is how the campaign is gonna go.
I know it
Thank
is.
you,
Yeah.
Brian. All right, continuing on. So, there is one specific adventuring firm called the Kraken Society that is based in the human capital of Generon.
I have another question.
Wait until the goddamn end.
All right,
They-
I'll wait.
All right,
Okay.
the Kraken Society
Yeah, I got it.
that is based in the human capital of Generon. Do not make me mute you. They manage quests and take payment from those in need of help or monsters felled. And adventurers of all races can make coin and gain renown by completing these missions. They are generally broken into small cells. After these adventurers apply and pass a trial, for legal reasons, the firm does not want to be responsible for the death and or dismemberment of a party member, nor do they want incapable people dragging their good name through the mud. These cells are usually led by a group of appointed by an appointed member of the cell, and though they are paid for their work, the Kraken Society does take an acquisition and moderation fee from the payment made for the job. New applicants have received their acceptance letters and have come to take the trial to become a member of the prestigious adventuring firm and gain their fame and fortune. Now, Brian, you have questions?
Yeah. Is the office building of the Kraken Society actually shaped like a kraken?
No.
With like the 8 legs and then the wings, or those are like the wings?
The building is not shaped like a kraken.
Why is it called the Kraken Society?
Why does a kraken have wings?
No, like the 8 tentacles would be like the wings of a building.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I mean, now that you say it, that would be kind of cool. Anyway, it is shaped like a normal building.
You know, when I first saw the name the Kraken Society, I figured it was just a like kind of blanket template for a campaign. I thought, oh, no wonder it has such a stupid name.
Oh,
it's because it's a blanket template.
So now you're criticizing my creativity?
100%.
Fellas, come on.
Fantastic.
You're all right.
All right. That was probably the worst time for me to take a bite of food.
Probably.
Sylar,
Yes.
we are starting with you.
Wonderful.
You,
Where do I find myself?
you arrived in the dock district of the grand city of Zeneron yesterday evening. Many ships
Okay.
and small skiffs line the port, and you are fairly familiar with the area, having made port here many times in the sea breeze. Though it's been almost a decade since you last saw it. It's definitely busier than you remember, but you could never forget the stench of fish and cattle all together in the same place. You had checked in at the same inn you'd stayed at 10 years ago. A bard maiden smiled and waved at you as you grabbed a few drinks before bed. She looked familiar, but you couldn't place her. And as you come down in the morning, you see her, and it hit you. She is the owner's daughter. You met her a couple times when you were at port, though she was 16 at the time. She smiles at you again, and my, has she blossomed.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
You hold in your hand the acceptance letter from the prestigious adventuring company, the Kraken Society. All that's left to do to become an official member is pass what they call an aptitude test. No details on what it may be, just that you would be tested upon arrival. You mostly remember the way to the gates leading to the northern district, which you know should take you to the trade district where it is located. But you've never seen the city past the docks. What would you like to do?
Let's see. Quick question. Do I see parents anywhere around?
Parents?
Parents, yeah.
I mean, like, with their children?
No, like the barmaids. Parents.
Oh, no, they're probably in the back doing some sort of,
Okay, cool. So
You know,
I won't be crossing any lines or anything.
administrative
Okay, cool.
stuff behind the scenes.
Cool. Well, if I'm not exactly sure of the way there, I will probably go up to her and introduce myself. I'm going to take off my hat. I'm going to give it a little flourish. I'm going to go, good morning, lass. Sylar Sanderwick, at your service. Was wondering if you could do me a favor. I don't know the city very well. I'm on my way to the Kraken Society temple building thing. Would you happen to know how to get there?
So when you
Why is
mention...
your character Irish?
My character's a lot of things. It comes out Irish. It wasn't intended to be Irish, but yeah.
Definitely Irish.
Yeah, it's going to be Irish.
So when you mentioned that you're looking for the Kraken Society, she kind of gets a smirk and it's like, "Oh, you're looking to be an adventurer, are you?"
Ah, but of course. You know, me mother said, do what you love and the money will follow. Hasn't happened yet, but it could.
I see. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be staying in the docks.
Why is the barmaid Irish?
I guess I'm reflecting his accent. It happens all the time.
Is the Kraken Society in Ireland?
Absolutely. This campaign takes
Yes.
place in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Adjust your accents accordingly.
Anyway, she will direct you to. I mean, you know where the gates are that lead to the Northern District, but she will give you kind of directions through the Northern District to get you to the Trade District. And she hasn't been to the Trade District all that often. She usually, stays in the Northern and Dock districts. Just through.
Is that near Kilkenny?
Sure. But yeah, she can guide you to at least the Trade District.
Okay, awesome. So is she willing to like walk with me there, or is she giving me directions?
She is currently working, so she is not
Okay.
able to leave.
Walk this way.
Okay. Sounds
Yes.
good. Well, wonderful. Well, I thank you for your assistance. Hopefully I'll be seeing more of you if you catch my meaning.
Okay, if
Sure.
we're in Ireland, why are you trying to do a shitty Ireland accent that's just going to piss off the locals?
We're not in Ireland.
Well, I don't know. We can break down what the accent was supposed to be. I put a bunch of different things together, and it just turned out weird
Just turned out
Irishy.
Irish.
But there are very specific characters I'm basing it on, none of which are Irish.
That's hilarious.
That's good.
Anyway, so I will, having left the young lady with, a wink and another flourish of my cap, I will head out with my trusty macaw on my shoulder, Basterbine, and we will take in the city and kind of casually stroll towards the trade district.
Alrighty. So, where was it? Okay, so once you get to the gate at the trade district, you have no bearings, and you must find your way to the Kraken Society headquarters. So you've stopped at the gate, and to the left there is a smaller, barely cobbled road that follows the wall between the districts on this side, like once through the gate on the trade district side. And to the right, the road continues, but curves not far down the way. And straight ahead looks kind of like the main thoroughfare through this district. But you're not sure if it's, going to be, straight through that way, or if there's other kind of main streets that might go through the district. So which way would you like to go?
Well, kind of muttering it to himself, he's going to be like, curses! Navigation, me one weakness. Basterbine, you fly up there, you see if you can find any buildings that look like giant octopi.
Now, for those listening, who is Basterbine?
Basterbine is my familiar. I'm probably not going to keep it a secret for very long. He is an imp, but most of the time he's going to stay, shapeshifted into a macaw that sits on my shoulder. got kind of a piratey aesthetic going on. So,
Couldn't tell.
If he gets a parrot, I want a
but
dog.
he is intelligent.
It's part of his
Has
class,
like his
Brian.
own stat block, all the fun stuff.
Alrighty.
So I'm gonna send him up there just on the off chance he finds an octopus-shaped building. But I think I will take kind of the back way, the way that looks like it has less people.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I mean,
'Cause
there.
you said there was one that was kind of less cobbled.
Well, yeah. So it's kind of barely cobbled and follows the wall.
Yeah.
And so it's to your left and your right. And you know that the dock district is on the northern part of the city. That's where the ocean and the coast, where the city is kind of built up right next against that. So you're coming from the north, and you know that from based on her directions that the trade district is going to be just I guess to the east of the northern district, so kind of like south and east.
So am I going the wrong way?
No, so you can, if you want to take the back ones, you can go left, which will take you like directly east,
Okay.
or the right, which will take you kind of more south, southwest.
Okay, I'll head east.
Due
I'll head
east?
east while I wait for
Okay.
Masterbind to
Yeah. So
come report back that presumably there's probably no buildings. I
sure.
don't know.
So so you follow the road for a little bit, and this one you couldn't see it from where you were, but this one also starts to curve and starts to go south. So it seems like it's kind of going the right way, but you will probably, if you continue on this road, end up all the way at the edge of the trade district. So I don't know if you want to turn, but you do see, it's just kind of, right up against the wall, outskirts of the district. It's not run down necessarily. The trade district isn't like a poor district. These are kind of like the not the pretty buildings. This is like what the back sides of the buildings, like kind of like an alley, as it butts up against the wall. But you do see Basterbine coming back. Now, he can speak telepathically with you, right?
He can speak telepathically. I think when he's in imp form, he can also just talk. But,
yeah, in imp form he can. I just wasn't
but
sure if
not
he
right
had
now.
to transform and talk to you. I think, yeah.
But if he's a parrot, he should be able to talk.
He's a macaw.
Isn't that a parrot?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's a parrot. I know it's like a tropical bird, I think.
Yeah.
Parrot adjacent?
Parrot adjacent.
There you go.
So he flies back and lands on your shoulder, and will tell you telepathically that he did not see an octopus-shaped building, but he did see a very large, fancy-looking building with a lot of gold trim on it that seemed more out of place than the other buildings.
Okay. Ah, wonderful. Mastermind, you're my saving grace. Lead on.
Righto.
I will follow. I will follow the bird.
Alrighty. And Brian left when we were going to switch to him.
No, I didn't. I was just turning the fan on.
Ah, what? You
Like
don't think you're gonna-
97 degrees out here today with humidity.
Yeah, it's been pretty warm up here too. Although we had a crazy storm today, and I had
you didn't.
trees blow over and block my path when I was working, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jarrett, we are switching to you.
Okay.
Um,
Go.
you enter the city from the northeast. You
Right, I do.
You've never been to the city, or really any city rather, having grown up in the mountains that border the Great Wastes. You follow the river that runs by the city and have found yourself in what signs are saying is the Field District. The guards seem uneasy as you approach the city, being a rather imposing figure. But upon brandishing your fancy letter, they ushered you inside. Continuing to garner concerned looks from the townspeople, you follow signs further into the city that lead you to the North District. Once at the gate, you are, you've asked where directions are and find yourself at the gates of the Trade District.
I've asked where directions are?
Okay, I worded things weird. I'm sorry. You asked for directions for where the Kraken Society is at, and you were pointed to the Trade District. Once at the gate, you have a few paths in front of you. Again, similar to Sylar, one continues straight, and a small path to your left leads south along the wall, separating districts, and continues to your right and seems to contain some very small shops. Checking your letter, you know that you need to find your way... Oh, to the Trade District, yeah, where you're at. Lol. So, where would you like to go now that you're in the Trade District?
The bar? You told me one path.
No, there's one straight ahead of you. And there's a small path to your left that leads south along the wall, and it continues to your right and seems to contain some small shops. So you have three paths. Left,
Okay.
right, and center.
Let's go left and hope one of the shops is a bar.
So to the left is it just kind of follows the wall and looks like it's just like the backsides of buildings. The path to your right, because the gate kind of comes up like this.
Do you have a map?
I don't have one drawn yet, but so the gate basically. So if you go straight to your right, like the wall is curved. So like the gate comes at the point of the curve, and one follows the wall, the other one goes right, and there are some shops to your right. So if you go left, you're gonna follow the wall. If you go straight, it'll take you like way deeper into the Trade District. If you go right, is where you saw some very small shops, like mom and pop little, if you think of like in animes, in Japan, they have like little ramen shops. It's like that.
Let's go to the ramen shops.
Okay. So you see one that seems to be selling a gentleman selling precious stones, and a few buildings down from him. It's not like they're lining the street, but a few buildings down, you see another small shop seems to be hawking fabrics. Another one is selling sugar dates and pistachios.
All right.
Sugar dates and beads, whatever. But yeah, just like small dried fruits and nuts are the kind of the three you see there.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to any of them?
Should I talk to any of them?
I mean, they seem to be the only people around at the moment. I mean, this is the ass end of the town of the district, and you have no idea where to go. I mean,
all right, I'll talk to the special rock guy.
The special rock guy. All right. So, this is a very short, very hairy dwarf who seems to be standing on a box of some sort to be high enough to be eye level with his customers. He says, are you looking for some specific rocks, or are you just browsing?
No, my name's Jarrett Rockbreaker, and I'm here to break your rocks.
I would prefer if you didn't. This is my livelihood.
Give me a rock to break, or I'm going to break you.
If you'd like to pay for one, I'd be more than happy to give you a rock.
How much for a rock?
What size and what kind are you looking for? I've got many precious ones.
That one on the left.
The one there on the left, the big gold one?
No, not the big gold one. The more stony-colored one beneath it.
Are you looking for... Oh, are you looking at the onyx here?
No, further down. And then I bend over and grab a rock off the ground and throw it at the guy.
All right, I'm going to have to ask you
Onto the fabric stealer.
and onto the fabric stealer.
Move on to the fabric stealer after I throw a rock at the dwarf.
All right, he's not very happy. He's yelling obscenities as you walk down the road. So you come to the fabrics shop, lady person. Sorry, you see a. It looks like if you were to have a cat that is also the same shape as a person. So it's a cat person.
Okay.
They, have the same proportions as a human. They're probably a bit smaller, but I mean they're covered in fur like a cat would be, and they have a cat, like their cat-shaped head, and they have a tail. But yeah, they're a cat person.
Aaron, the video keeps blinking. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I saw it. My computer was popping up.
Okay.
AVG. It's annoying me.
Gotcha. So I'm talking to the cat lady. Am I starting the conversation, or are you?
I mean, yeah, she'll just kind of look at you like, until you want to see something. She's just watching you, She's got a few different fabrics out on display.
Okay. Hey, how do I get to the Kraken Society?
Oh, you're looking for the Kraken Society, huh?
You've got a shit voice.
What do you expect me to do? I'm a man. I'm trying to do like a Irish female voice.
Do it right now. I want to hear this.
What?
Your Irish female voice.
No, a high-pitched female voice.
Oh, well.
Like,
I want a high-pitched Irish female voice.
Exactly.
That.
All right, then. What are you looking for? You're looking for the Kraken Society?
But like I said,
So, if you go back the way you came, and you take the main road there, probably for about 3 blocks. I'm going back to Scottish. Anyway, I can't do Irish. For about 3 blocks. Then you're going to take a left, and then your first right, and then you'll keep going straight. You'll see the big old building, just gilded, gaudy building with gold. It's hard to miss.
Does it look like an octopus?
No.
Let's.
She kind of gives you a weird look.
All right, thanks, lady.
Flicks her
And I'm
tail. All right. So you follow her directions, and as you are about to, like, you've just taken a left, and you're going to take your final right to go down the main thoroughfare there, or not the main thoroughfare, but the main road that takes you past into the Kraken Society. You see a blue tiefling with a brightly colored bird, who currently is not here. He's left his seat. Also walking down, kind of holding a very familiar-looking piece of paper. It looks to be the same type of letter that you have yourself.
What's a tiefling?
A tiefling is what Ceda's character is. So they can have a lot of different colors, but it's if you take a human and you color them either like a red hue or even some blue hues, this one is blue. They'll have horns coming up out of their head, slightly pointed ears, and I mean the horns can take very different shapes. But CJ, if you would like to describe your character for Jarrett.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So Sylar is a walking pirate stereotype. He's a horny blue guy, as you've heard. He wears armor that is clearly made light. It's made of like boiled leather and some small studs, but it's clearly designed to be able to swim in. He doesn't want to be held down by bulky armor. He spends a lot of his time on ships. He's got a colorful bird on his shoulder. He's got an eye patch covering his left eye, and a big old pirate sash with a flintlock pistol stuck in it. Yeah, like think pirate, literally. The first image that comes into your mind, now give it horns and make it blue.
Okay. You missed the hat, and I feel like that's the most important part of a pirate.
I feel like it'd be really hard to wear a hat with horns.
Yeah, he's got one though. He's so you know those tricorn hats,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But the ends are like bent up so it can fit in between his horns that come out like this.
Well, I mean, it's already pretty bent, but it's like even like bent and folded narrower than it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Why
So
would
he
I
has
like,
like
clearly-
it's like a point sticking out, almost like a third horn, and then the other fabric finally sticks out behind his horns.
Yeah.
So-
No, clearly this guy really wanted to have a hat, even though he's equipped to possess one.
He really wanted it.
Really wanted to have a hat.
Awesome. So that is what you see, Jarrett. So, yeah. So you see that tiefling kind of coming down the road the same way you're going with the same letter, and that's what you
was
see.
the thing again?
What CJ is.
Now, Siler, you see a very large, darker complexion man kind of had just turned the corner in front of you, and you see in his hand is a letter that looks very familiar, as it appears to be the same letter that you yourself have. Now,
Okay.
Jarrett, would you describe what you look like?
I look about 6 inches taller than I am. Wait, has KatC done a drawing of me yet?
Yeah, so I mean, you're about. I mean, if you said you were going to be on the small side for a Goliath, which their average is 7 to 8. So I figured you'd be like what 6'11" 3/4.
Oh, so he's a big boy.
I am a big boy.
Yes. So yeah, he. I mean, obviously not like hulking, but yes, he is a very tall, very large stature person. Continue.
Yeah, so I'm about 6'8", kind of on the low side for a Goliath. Not tremendously huge, but definitely a large person. Very well endowed.
You can tell by that codpiece.
Well, it's not just the codpiece, my friend. Anyway,
As we're walking down the street, before you can hear, I go, well, there goes a man who's well endowed. And Bastardine just looks at me.
You're like,
yeah, I knew you'd say it.
What?
for sure.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Facial features, picture me without the nerd jersey here. And I have Avatar-esque tattoos going throughout my body. So mostly just arrows in the backs of my hands and one big one on the top of my head. I'm bald, by the way. And if you could see under my armor, which I hope you do someday, there are, tattoos with arrows and the beams of the arrows pointing throughout the rest of my body. Just picture it in fantasy.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and he's like decked out. I think you have what plate mail? I think plate armor.
Probably something
Yeah,
like
you have plate armor. Yeah, so just in full plate armor, just very imposing figure. And he kind of turns in front of you, and I mean you're probably 5-10 feet from each other.
Cool. So are we like crossing each other like this on the street? Is that kind of the situation?
No, so Siler, you were going down the road based on the directions that the barmaid gave you, and Jarrett basically kind of turned out in front of you and is going to be going the same way you were headed.
Okay.
But he noticed you being a blue tiefling and piratey and very eccentric looking as he came
Indeed.
out and was going to turn.
Awesome. Well, I will shuffle on over and I will say, "Excuse me, sir. I can't help but notice you have an appointment with the Kraken this morning. Do you happen to know where it is?"
Do I respond?
Well, that's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay. First of all, why the fuck are you talking like that? Second, no, I don't know where it is. I was hoping to find somebody else who did.
Ah, wonderful. Me bird knows where it is.
Oh,
Would you like to follow me bird to the Kraken?
is that an innuendo?
It might be. Wouldn't you like to know?
Why I asked the question. But sure, let's skip down this yellow brick road to the Kraken Society and figure out what's going on.
Wonderful. We're off to see the Kraken.
The wonderful Kraken of Generon.
Or
Indeed.
as it
All right.
shall be known.
So you two skip down arm in arm as the camera fades and star wipes into a religious looking temple. And Joran, you have lived most of your life at the Temple of Torm. Your parents are human and have lived their lives also in devotion to Torm at a temple in the southern town of Rengeth. Having been born touched by Torm as an Aasimar, your parents gave you up to the main temple here in Generon to be trained as a holy paladin. Now, due to certain unsettling things you've discovered about a close personal mentor, you aren't sure who you can trust at the temple. So you've decided to set out on your own personal pilgrimage of sorts to seek out the heretical order of the Eye that is a stain on Torm's name. You've decided to join an adventuring firm in order to find companions to join you and as a way to gain exposure to the world of Zenerel, since you have scarcely left Generon your whole life. Starting out in your somewhat newfound freedom, you've been accepted to the Kraken Society, pending an aptitude test, which, given as much as you've studied in your life, does not concern you much. Knowing the city well, it is nothing at all to find the headquarters. Is there anything you want to do before you set out?
Masturbate.
Am I still in the temple?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you could be headed on your way out, or you could be at the front doors, ready to go down the steps.
I will kneel down and say a quick prayer of protection and wisdom, and then I will set out on my journey, full of doubt.
Exactly what you want to hear. Setting out on an adventure full of doubt.
Yes.
All right. So, you make your way out, and you find your way fairly easy. The temple is kind of up on a hill and at a high point in the southern district, where the southern trade and castle districts kind of meet. So it's very kind of close into that little intersection corner.
Enter.
And so you know exactly where the Kraken Society is. You've had a lot of clerics that come through, working for the firm that have come to the temple to pay their respects. You've had some shady people also kind of come in and wanted to confess and try and cleanse their conscience, that sort of thing. But yes, you know the Kraken Society very well, which is why your first thought was to turn there. So you make your way up through, and as you are turning the corner to head that direction, you see a very unique looking blue tiefling and a large imposing Goliath kind of walking together, and they have in their hands the same letter that you had gotten for your acceptance to the Kraken Society. They're probably, I don't know, 20 feet away. Kind of coming
Okay.
down
Are they
the
coming?
road.
Are they coming my direction towards me?
No,
Oh, we're coming your direction.
yeah, you kind of are coming from opposite directions. You know that they would be turning left and you would be going right to take the main road that goes down to the Kraken Society.
Okay, so I see them ahead of me, and I think to myself, "What an odd bunch this is." Is this?
As we get closer, I'll give you a sample of the conversation currently taking place,
Oh
right?
God.
So Siler's just walking going, so why rocks? I mean, if you could break anything, why a rock? What did a rock ever do to you?
You break rocks to make smaller rocks. That's the whole point of it.
Aye. One knows the truth when he hears it. And that, sir, was a true
True
statement.
Oh God.
I see them from a distance. With I'm sorry. What's your character's name again? Brian. What's your character's name?
Jarrett.
Jared.
Jarrett.
With
Jarrett.
two.
You can see it on the.
Okay.
the-
I see Jarrett breaking rocks to show this tiefling how
it's done.
how it's done, and I think to myself, what have I gotten myself into? Is it the outside world?
Oh, I mean, you've seen some interesting people come through the town, but these two are a little bit more unique.
Okay.
We're in a class of
So
our
it's
own.
not like totally like surprising, but you know, it's just like a small notch above what you're used to seeing.
Okay.
You know, as
All
far
right.
as that goes. But yes.
And then I wonder to myself, are these the people that I'll join the Kraken Society?
You're probably hoping in your back of your mind that it's like, please don't let these be the people I end up with.
Not these two people that I end up with.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why are we carrying our letters?
Wouldn't we put them in our armor or in our pocket?
I mean,
The
it was the last.
calligraphy was lovely.
It was the last thing you had probably looked at, you know, because you had to figure out where you needed to go. So, I mean, I guess.
Just say they have a directionary on there, like direction.
Well, it didn't necessarily have directions like saying, you know, go this way, go that way. It just was telling you like where in the city it was located.
What's
And it
the
probably had
building
like a small, like on the
Right.
like on the very bottom right corner. It probably had like a small localized map with a a star where it was, where it was located. But I mean, not like traverse the whole city. This is where you need to go, sort of thing.
So as we come up to the turn, they
Are having this
Slight-
conversation about breaking rocks.
yes, and they continue on past the turn as I turn right, and then I look back and I say, "Hey, wait, fools! The Kraken Society is this way." Turn around and look at me like, "Who is this idiot?"
Is that Batman?
Have I ever seen an Asimar before? Do I know what they are?
You've seen an ass before.
Siler,
It's
you
top right.
probably. Why don't you roll me a history check?
All right, let's find out. 18 plus 1, 19.
Okay, yeah. So you definitely know what they are. You've heard plenty of stories while you're on the Sea Breeze, and probably while you're on the Black Breeze. You've heard plenty of stories about people who were born with almost a celestial, like celestial blood, and they are known to have different holy quote unquote abilities that they can do, and it also manifests in their appearance. They different. You have not probably seen one in person before, but you know about them and have heard about them plenty. So, Joran, why don't you describe what you look like?
Oh, this voice. I am a mighty, averagely tall.
Are you saying this in character? Hang on.
I do.
Just because you're in your character voice, is this like you're saying it?
I don't.
It's like one of those '90s, dating profile videos that was on VHS.
All right, go ahead, do it.
I am a mighty Aasimar, gleaming in my glorious paladin armor. I have dark auburn hair and eyes that glow purple like the sun.
Yeah, I can fucking.
I'm
see
gonna
that. It's
lean
right there.
over.
Why are you telling me this?
I'm gonna lean over to my friend who has an obsession with rocks and go, don't know what sun he's been looking at. Sun's purple? I don't think the sun's purple.
It is in certain. It is in certain places in the world.
Regardless, I'm Sylar Sanderwick at your service. But I won't stand for being called a fool from the likes of ye, Angel Boy.
Angel boy, you best watch your mouth. Wait, what does angel boy mean?
It's like an altar boy, except more dirty.
Oh God.
What's so dirty about an altar boy?
Ask a priest.
Question a priest on this. As for now, the Kraken Society is this way. If you follow me, I can show you.
Yeah, you guys
Well,
probably
you're
were.
obviously correct, so I don't really want to walk with you.
I don't know. I don't go anywhere without consulting me, bird. What do you think, bird?
What say ye?
Oh, what is the bird gonna say? Hang on.
Never mind the flickering.
Trust the fly boy.
Wait, so now he can talk?
No, well, I mean, he can imitate probably like a macaw. he wouldn't have come down and like spoken a whole sentence to him, which is why it was mental, internal, telepathic type conversation they had. But
For the purposes of this gag, he can talk.
right, small, like imitation type conversation.
Anyway, Bastard Bun likes you.
Yes. Trust me.
Yeah, you guys were probably, got ahead, were distracted in your conversation, which is why you missed your turn. But yeah, this seemingly overconfident Asmar paladin has basically just, told you that you are going the wrong way.
Indeed. Well, and the bird agrees with him, so I will take his lead.
Alrighty.
I like the pirate, so I'll take his lead as well.
Alrighty. So as you guys approach, you find yourselves staring at an almost gaudy edifice. Gold-plated trim lines almost every edge of the building, and the architecture is very unique, almost seeming out of place in this this large building. Must contain 10 floors, you think, at least. Top with a rounded, almost cuff-like roof. Kind of think, so like that, like big auditorium place in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like, not quite, it's not like a rounded building, but like, think of like the roof kind of sitting on top of it like that. That's like armor, so that's kind of what, like the roof is kind of like, just not as grandiose, but it's similar to that. And this building spans probably like almost looks like it spans like the whole city block there. So from one entrance you see a group of fancily armored parties coming and going, while the city guardsmen fend off fanboys and girls. Through another, you see more average-looking adventurers coming and going as well, though maybe only a couple people cheering for them. But this is the place one can change their fate. Sorry. If you work hard enough and luck out on the right jobs, you can gain a noble's title and be allowed to reside in the castle district. Over the main entrances are signs hanging denoting the rank of those allowed to enter here. The nicer ones are like platinum with gold filigree dancing around the edges. The middle ranks there have gold and silver signs with silver and copper designs respectively. The door your letters seem to have directed you to looks like is around the back side of the building. As you go around the back towards where the letter is telling you your door that you're supposed to report to is, the decor and appointments seem to be getting increasingly drab as you follow there until you get to a plain, basic wooden door with a wooden slab hanging above it with the word recruits carved in basic block script. What would you guys like to do?
Well, so do we have an appointed time on our letters, or is it just kind of like, are we expected?
So that's probably why the three of you all probably bumped into each other, is because like there was like a specific time in the morning that you were supposed to be there. Probably should have mentioned that when talking about your letters, but yes.
Since he thinks he's, expected and there wouldn't be anything weird with it, Siler's going to go ahead and just walk on in. You know, he's going to take a minute to kind of do his little waistcoat and make sure his hat is as crammed between his horns as he can. And right, gents, let's do our best to make a good first impression. And then he barges in.
Roll me a dexterity check.
Okay. Just straight dex?
Yeah, just a straight dex.
Okay, 19.
All right, so you were full of confidence and were about to just like walk right through this door, and probably would have just ran face first into the door, but you realize fast enough that the door is actually locked before you move full force into it.
Now, who would lock a door when they're expecting someone? Something to ponder. Is this how they usually treat their recruits, Flyboy? Looking at Jordan. Because he seems to know more than I do.
I respond and I say, obviously this is not where we are expected. I cannot be merely a recruit, so the door seems to be locked for a reason.
I pipe in and say, maybe we should try knocking? Approach the door and knock on the door.
Alrighty. After a few moments, the door opens and a portly, middle-aged man that looks like he has tried his hardest to dress in the a nice business attire pokes out his head out and greets you with, "Letters, please."
I hand him my letter.
Okay. He looks over it and looks at you and is like, "All right, letter, please."
All right. I will hand over my letter and just I'm gonna not like roll perception or anything, but just with my passive perception, do I see anything notable about this guy? I'm just kind of like observing him, just kind of looking down my nose at him a little bit.
No, so I mean, it looks like he has tried to dress in a professional manner. I mean, somewhat rundown business-like tunic that looks a little threadbare in places. Wears one of those slightly poofy hats with like the feathers sticking out, kind of.
Ooh.
But it's pretty.
Good
it's
sir,
a pretty
I
ragged
can't help
feather.
but notice that you have a hat with a feather in it.
The feather looks pretty
Now.
ragged and like
Oh,
it's like a piss
never
poor
mind.
excuse for a feather.
Never
I
mind.
mean, like he's trying his hardest to like be professional and have like the whatever, but I mean he's working the back door, man. He's not.
Okay, fair
Here
enough.
he is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, he seems like he's
Siler sees a feather and goes, ooh. But then, after actually looking
closer
at the feather,
inspection,
he goes,
saying
maybe
there's
this
a
would be
section here. There's it's like when
This
you
is
get a feather
perhaps-
wet and you kind of like run your fingers down it, and it's just like doesn't look much like a good feather anymore. It's
yeah,
kind of what it
perhaps
looks like.
this would be a bad trade
Like
to propose.
this hat's probably been in his family for like a generation or two.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm good.
Okay. Do you hand him your letter?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of checking him out and
Sure. Okay. So yeah, he
seeing if-
looks down the letter, and then looks up at you, and kind of eyes the bird, like, all right, and then looks
that's
at
me
you.
bird, Mastermind. He's coming with.
All right, I guess that's fine then. And then looks to you, Jordan, and says, "Letter, please."
I stare at him very intensely in the
It was a
face.
stare.
He stares back, just like, "Letter, please."
And then I hand over the letter, begrudgingly, expecting that he would already have my notice of arrival.
So like you kind of just, so like you're staring him down. You kind of just like go to like hand him your letter, and just like snatches it out, like, "All right, guys, a bit late, but here we go. All right," and just kind of ushers you inside. So he ushers you inside the door, and you see kind of like a small, dark, like sitting like a like a lobby, like an entrance room to like a dentist office, something like that. But it's very dark and drab, almost musty seeming. And he goes behind a desk, opens up a filing cabinet type thing. I mean, and there are like rows of like cabinets that probably have all kinds of paperwork in them. But he grabs a couple, like a large stack of papers, and kind of hands each of you a stack. I mean, this has got to be probably like 30 sheets of paper in these packets that he's handing you. And he points to the first one. He's like, "All right, now this one here is a waiver, and the one underneath it there is a non-disclosure agreement. Need you to sign, initial, in all the right places," and he kind of points to like the different spots, and we should be good to go.
All right. So Siler, being really picky about deals, is going to actually go ahead and actually read all the fine print
Oh,
and
God.
everything.
Okay, roll me.
He's taking an absurd amount of time on this.
All right, roll me an intelligence check.
Oh no. 9.
So, I mean, you're reading through, and you're catching, the kind of the gist of it, these sentences. There are a few
Every fifth
large,
word,
there are a few large words like legal jargon that you don't quite understand, but you're saying things like, not responsible for, Kraken Society is not responsible for whatever, legal jargon, in case of this, whatever, Kraken Society is not responsible for whatever. And it lists like a bunch of different scenarios, but a lot of different things. Like, it's extensive. Like, anything you think could actually happen to somebody, you're basically saying Kraken Society is not responsible for anything that happens to you while working for them.
Okay. Cool. Well, Siler will try his best to make it through it, and about halfway through, he's just gonna be like visually.
Okay. Yeah, and
he's gonna give up and just start pencil whipping
okay,
it.
yeah. Do you look at the non-disclosure agreement at all?
No, by that point he's just
Okay.
pencil whipping.
Yep. And he'll tell you, basically, in this agreement here, basically saying that, during this aptitude test, you'll be exposed to a few things. Basically, you're not allowed to talk to anybody about it outside the Kraken Society. So you're basically agreeing that you won't talk to anyone who has not undergone this test about what you're about to see.
The fourth time you said that.
He's very thorough.
Hmm.
And like when you hand it back to him, like he'll say it again. Like, now remember, like you signed this. Like you're not allowed to say anything about to anybody.
All right.
Well, I don't think that will be a problem. Do I look like a man who can't control his mouth?
I don't know what kind of man you look like.
You're about to.
Oh God, what does that mean?
I don't know. You know, I hadn't planned for Siler to, never mind. Move on.
Alrighty.
We'll see where the character goes.
All right. Do the rest of you? Do you guys sign everything as well?
I look up at the guy and ask, so basically what all this means is don't talk to anyone and you don't cover anything.
Basically, yeah.
All right. Blindly sign the whole lot.
All 30 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like every stop, like on like every single thing that was listed, it's like initial here, like you agree, initial here, whatever, and then like the last page, like you have the signature and everything.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Finally do it. Get the broad strokes and go ahead.
right? So you mostly understand this. Like you said, you're fairly well learned and studied.
Am I now?
No, Jordan.
Oh, fair enough.
So like you I mean I don't know if you want to like read it necessarily, go through the whole thing, but like glancing through, it's pretty standard legal jargon for saying basically they're not responsible for these sorts of things. Basically, like you're working for us, we're going to give you a percentage of they're going to take a percentage of what your job pays, but like basically no insurance, like they're not covering anything.
So knowing full well what I'm getting myself into, I sign all the documents and I hand it back to this guy and I say stoically and as if he should expect it, Torm, the Great One, will protect me. There is no need for non-disclosure.
Had trouble with that one, didn't you?
I would say that I find it confusing because it seems non-necessary to me.
Basically, he feels NDAs don't apply to him.
Exactly.
It's
I
like
am above the FDA.
NDA, non-disclosure agreement. All right. So once you all have signed and handed him your forms, he will let you know that if you make it through your aptitude test, that you will get a full copy of these agreements.
We didn't get a full copy?
Not yet.
Look at him and I say, "Sir, I don't want your paper."
I mean, it's going to take time. I mean, they don't have copiers there.
Okay, well, fine then. I don't say that.
Wonderful. Well then, let's move it along to your little test.
Alrighty.
I have a girl waiting for me.
You recognized her and you barely met her. She did not seem you didn't even ask her name. Like you don't.
He doesn't need a name.
He needs the young Thai boy left on the ship.
Oh God. All right, so he will then guide you through a door out of this office that leads to stairs that go downwards. There's a couple sets of stairs, and then a few more sets of stairs. It's like you're going like deep down under the city, almost. And once you get to the bottom, he'll lead you through another door down there. I mean, this is like
Is it a dungeon?
it's a dungeon.
Oh, all right.
And like there's no actual rooms. It's just like doors in a hallway. But each door seems to be getting increasingly more sturdy. And finally he leads you through a very large door that looks like a thick slab of metal, and this thing's got like 6 locks in it. And he'll point you to the door beyond, which is a very plain looking door in contrast to everything else you've just passed through. And he'll kind of look at you and just very flat, "Good luck on your test," and closes the door. And like very swiftly, and as soon as the door closes, like, all of these locks seem to engage at once with like a reverberating clunk clunk.
What do the locks do?
Clunk click.
Ah.
Hey, are we all in there together?
Yes, all 3 of you are in there together.
Well, I'm just gonna stand there, not surprised, just patiently wait, and in kind of a meditative, I guess, state of mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask, did you guys know we were gonna work together? I thought this was a kind of headhunter alone kind of thing.
To be honest, I assumed it would be a race to the finish, with the winner taking all.
Well,
Still
we know
not
you'll be
entirely
first to
convinced
finish.
that that's not the case.
But we know you'll be first to finish.
Aye, 'tis true.
He always finishes
Or last.
first.
Or last.
So I'm gonna go ahead and look around the room. With like special interest in light sources. Like, is there light in here? Is this a dark room?
Yeah, so it looks like they have installed like kind of permanent drift globes like on the ceiling, so it's just, you know, doing like a not like super bright, but just like a magically kind of glowing orb, and just like one just in the center of this particular section of this very long hallway of doors, and each one had, you know, the same light.
Okay.
And it's just earthen floor, looks, you know, stone walls, kind of looks like it was like a mining tunnel almost.
Mm.
So it's just rocks and dirt and just you know, wooden frames holding everything up.
Okay.
Can we grab those globes of light?
No, they're like permanently like affixed to the ceiling, and the ceiling is probably 15-20 feet high.
Do they go down the whole way?
So it's like one in each section, so it's not a very, I mean, this room is probably that you're currently in, you got locked in, is about probably 10 feet across by 5 feet wide.
And there's a door on the other side that's
There's just a plain wooden door. So like you know, these doors kept, you know, almost like increased security as it went to the door that got locked behind you, and then in front of you, you know, he pointed to you, said, you know, test is through there, and then lock the door, and it's just a plain wooden door.
Okay.
I'm
So,
gonna volunteer the
to be-
pirate to go first to the door.
To be clear, the hallway with is behind us.
Yes.
We've gotten locked in, and
Mhm.
it's just kind of a plain room with a door in front.
Yeah,
that
it's just like
the test
another.
is
I mean, this
through.
whole thing looked like a hallway, just with door, like it's section, like a hallway, a big long hallway sectioned off by like increasingly, you know, more secure doors, until you're
Okay.
in this one section that's probably, you know, about 10-15 feet across by 5 feet wide.
Okay.
So it's almost an airlock. To an
Kind
extent.
of, yes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously not that, you know, high of a seal, but similar concept, like.
But the space you're in, airlocks are roughly 10 by 5, you know, 8 foot high,
Sure.
and then
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
only earthy and like mine shaft looking, with really high ceilings. It's a
All
dungeon.
right. Well, what do you suppose the point is? Are we supposed to make it out? Or do you think it's a fight waiting for us on the other side of the door?
considering our whole job is to fight baddies, there's probably a fight.
Mm,
I look at both of you and I say, "Rock boy, knock on the door.
I acquiesce and knock on the door.
Weapons out, lads. Let's not get caught with our trousers down.
So you go to knock on the door, and as your hand, or I guess probably fist, as you knock on the door, it doesn't feel like wood. In fact, it's rather soft to the touch. And as your hand makes contact with it, it like almost starts to sink in. And the door handle opens up like a mouth. And a tongue comes out. And I need you all to roll initiative.
What die is
Which
it?
one do I roll?
So roll a d20 and add your initiative modifier, which is at the top. It should say initiative on it. Oh.
I rolled a 1, and I have initiative 0, so I have a 1.
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the initiatives in the chat for you, Aaron.
Okay. Yeah,
If that's helpful.
I mean, yeah.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I got a 14. Initiative is in the top left corner box. INT, right?
That's intelligence. So it'll say, it'll be kind of in the middle. It'll say initiative. It should be like a +1 or +2
It's
or
right
+0.
next to armor class. It looks kind of like a shield. It'll be right to the left of that one.
Wait, am I looking at?
So it's like at the top of your.
Oh, initiative +2. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so you rolled a 14.
14 + 2.
So 16.
16, excuse me.
All right, and JoJo.
I got a 1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I ain't doing shit.
Like, oh, look, a mouse.
So, yep, you will be going last. Alrighty. So,
Is my hand stuck or did it just sink in?
your hand, you find, when you try to pull it away, is stuck. The Mimic will go first. It rolled a natural 20. That's initiative.
Oh, no.
So, having Jarrett stuck to it, it will try to then bite it with, as its mouth opened from the door there. So, +5. Does an 18 hit your armor class?
What are you asking?
So your armor class, it'll be like a shield type thing.
Yes.
It'll say AC.
Uh-huh.
What is your armor class?
18.
Okay, so if it meets it, it beats it. So it does hit you. So it's gonna do a little chompy chomp on your arm. So 1d8 + 3. Oh, full damage. So it does 8 damage. And then it's also going to do 5 more acid damage.
I think it'd be hilarious if Ryan's character died.
I'd be pretty upset. I'd have to write that for it. 13 damage?
Yeah, total. How you feeling?
Wow, that. Fuck.
Fuck.
How much you got left?
15.
15? Solid.
And it is then your turn, Siler.
All right, so Siler will kind of take off his gloves. He's going to snap a finger on his left hand, and Frost is going to start to just kind of encase his body, spreading up from where he snapped, just a light coating over his whole body. He's casting Armor of Agathis.
All right.
or a Gaithes, however you choose to say that.
Yeah, I don't know how it's spelled, but it's something like that probably.
And then as a minor, if you'll allow it, I would like to pop a little ball bearing out and give it to Basterbine.
Okay. Sure.
And Basterbine. Oh, I guess we haven't talked about this. Do you want me to roll a separate initiative for?
He'll act on your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Basterbine shapeshift back into like an imp form.
Okay.
On my shoulder. And then I'll kind of move to assist, not necessarily in range, but where I can kind of look over Jarrett's shoulder and see this giant gaping maw of a mouth that used to be a door. And I'll end my turn.
Jarrett is currently attached to.
Yes.
Sorry, what did you do to the door? Sorry? Or what did
I didn't do
Basterbine
anything. Basterbine is just shape-shifting right now.
Does that take his action?
I assumed it did.
I wasn't sure if the changing shape was like a full action, or if that's something that he can do like an instant.
Tell you what, why don't you go ahead and make a ruling, and I'll get back to you on it.
Yeah, I'll say that it's probably like a equivalent to a bonus action. So if you want him to do something, you can.
Okay. Well, as he shapeshifts out, I'm gonna have him put this ball bearing in his mouth, and then for the rest of combat, he's gonna be holding action.
So he puts it in his mouth?
Yeah. So let me tell you what I'm planning on doing with this.
Okay.
I'm planning on casting darkness on the ball bearing, but because of the way the spell works, if it's like under something or completely enclosed, the darkness won't actually come out.
Okay.
So I want him to just be holding action. He's holding a ball bearing with darkness that I'm going to be concentrating on, and then the reaction is if I drop to like half health, he'll spit it out, and then that cloud of darkness will come out. But that way it's not jamming up the party. So it's kind of like a reactionary darkness.
Okay.
If you'll accept that
like
game plan.
Basically an oh shit clause.
Yeah, he's going to be my, oh no, I need to get out and heal people. Give me some darkness cover.
Alrighty.
But I can't cast the darkness on it yet. I'm just getting set up for it.
Cool. All right. Jarrett, you are up. You are currently, mechanically, it's called grappled. So it basically has a hold of you, and you can't, move from it. You have to make an ability check to basically escape from its grasp. So you need to roll a strength athletics check at disadvantage.
Okay.
Which means you roll 2 d20s, or you'll roll it twice and take the lower of the number.
Okay, and then
So on the top left, you'll see like a roll that says skills. It'll say like strength, athletics. There'll be like a whole list of them. There'll be like a list of different things. It'll be like athletics, right in the middle. Acrobatics.
Athletics.
Yeah, strength,
right.
Athletics, acrobatics, that sort of thing. Yeah. So add whatever that modifier. It should be like plus something. I don't know if you're proficient in it or not.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
+5.
Okay, yeah. So roll it twice. Take the lower number and add +5 to it.
All right. 15 total.
All right. You are able to, as you struggle and strain, pull your arm off of this thing. It's almost like it was stuck with like super glue, like really heavy super glue. And you are free. Now that took your action, but if you want, you have your movement, which it'll tell you what your movement speed is if you want to move away from it.
Where's my movement?
It should be up near your top by where like the armor class and initiative is. Let's say movement speed. Let's say like something feet, probably like 30 feet, something like that.
Right above armor class.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 30 feet.
Okay. I mean, granted, so the room's only 15 feet long, but if you want, you can move fully to the other side of the room.
Yeah, that'd be good. Want to regroup and rethink my life decisions.
All right. And then Joran, you are up next.
So I decide to pull out my long sword.
Yeah, you do.
His long sword.
Oh my.
Very underwhelmed and tired of this attack. I attack. Mimic, is that what you said?
It mimicked a door. So it's this. It basically can take any shape, and it made itself look like this door. But as soon as Jarrett touched it, it basically kind of morphed into, an amorphous, shape with a big old gaping maw.
Rather sticky as well.
It is sticky. You don't want to touch it with your skin.
With your skin? Okay. Well, yes, I go to stab this thing directly in the center.
Okay. So you'll make an attack roll.
How do I do
So
that?
under your actions, it'll list like your longsword
Yep.
stats. So you'll roll a d20, and it'll say like a plus like 2 or a plus 3 or something to your attack,
Yep.
and then it'll tell you what dice to roll for the damage. So you roll a d20, add that plus whatever. I guess I can look at your sheet.
I got 6 plus 4, so that's 10, and then I roll 1d8 plus 2.
So 10 does not actually hit the creature. So you swing and you get close, but you just barely miss it.
Well, I stare at it, quite shocked and appalled that it could do such a ridiculous thing in my presence.
All right, and it is back to the top with the mimic. So it is now with you in front of it, Joran. It is going to make a attack roll against you.
Jordan left.
Hey, I'm right here.
He may be out of shot, but he didn't leave.
Yeah.
Does a 19 hit you?
Oh, I have an armor class of 19.
Jeez, I'm like hitting on the nose. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So, d8 plus 3. Bludgeoning damage. So, 7 plus 3. So you get 10 bludgeoning damage. And then it is...
Do I put that on my hit points? Like 10 damage?
Yes, so if you go to the top here and click on it, you have the option to actually, like, it'll be like an arrow to do, like,
Right.
10 damage, and then you'll hit, like, apply or something like
Yeah.
that. And then it is on to Siler.
All right, so Siler, upon realizing that he may have gotten himself into a bad situation and doesn't have time to set up everything he would like to, he's got a little Macaulay Culkin in him. He pulls out his flintlock pistol, channels his will into the handle, and lets fly. He's just gonna lean in over the top of Jordan's shoulder and try to punch this thing in the mouth. So that's...
And this effectively is a flavor of how you are casting your Eldritch Blast, correct?
Yes, yeah. So Siler has notoriously bad aim and poor control when it comes to spells if he's not tapped into a power source that is way bigger than him. So he uses an empty flintlock pistol to channel the blast into, so he can manually aim it and let fly, because he's terrible at letting it go from his palm. So 15 to hit.
That hits.
Wonderful.
And you
Pop
get
it.
just one right now, right? Don't you get more later on?
I do, so I've got plans to maybe have multiple flintlocks on me or something.
Right, or did you like the, fire them like twice? Like the multiple, like the...
Yeah, I'm thinking like double barrels or something
Right.
might be kind of cool.
That'd be kinda
Anyway, 6 points of forged damage slap this door in the teeth.
Alrighty.
And as, just because it's who he is, as he's doing, he's going to be like, I wonder, Dar, are you fond of knock-knock jokes?
Yeah, it looks, at this point, it looks like a plastic door that basically melted with now a big mouth in front of it. In the middle of it.
All right, and I end my turn.
If it could laugh, it probably would have. And it is on to you, Jarrett.
All right. So how do I deal with the fire rune?
So the way your runes work is you can you'll get more runes later on, and you are able to change out which ones you have inscribed during like a long rest. You would probably have already have them inscribed. So you'd have your stone rune inscribed on your armor, and the fire rune is inscribed in your either your sword or the hilt of your flail, whatever you want, whichever one. And then your fire rune. So basically, it will summon forth fiery shackles. So when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you basically can invoke that rune. It's inscribed on your sword, or I guess you haven't decided which one what you wanted it on yet. But whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't have to attack with the weapon that it's inscribed on. But when you make a weapon attack, you can then basically invoke that rune to summon fiery shackles, and the target must succeed on a strength saving throw, which for you is a DC 12. Which is the number I have to roll on the dice, plus whatever modifiers. I have to pass that. Or be restrained for 1 minute while taking 2d6 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. And the target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, banishing the shackles on a successful save. And once you invoke the rune, you can no longer do so until you finish a short or long rest.
Okay, well, that was really boring, so I'm just going to pull out my flail. And I'm going to throw directly to this door, having charged it before I did so. So, by charging it, I mean running at it.
Okay, yeah.
And swinging the flail around and around and around to develop momentum.
Sure. It's not going to give you any mechanical bonuses, but yes.
All right. I just need to be detailed. So I rolled the d20, right?
Yes, so d20 and then plus whatever your flail is. I think it's a +2. No, +5. Okay. Look at that. So you'll roll d20 +5.
16 plus 5, so 21.
That
Oof.
absolutely hits. Like this is the most accurate you've ever been with your flail.
I know, right? Considering it's the first time I've used it for this campaign.
Yes. So go ahead and roll your damage, which I believe is a D8 plus 3.
A date plus 3.
A date plus 3. Go ahead and roll a
Oh
date.
my.
I don't. Do I have a D8?
So it'll be the one that looks like 2 pyramids on top of each other.
This one?
Yes. So yeah, so it's like 2 pyramids with their butt to butt.
Gotcha. All right. 7 and then what?
Plus 3.
All
So
right.
10.
10 damage.
Alrighty. And did you want to engage your fire rune, or did you want to save it, since you can only use it once per short or long rest?
I'm gonna save it.
Okay. And effectively, so the rests are basically on a short rest. You can recover a little bit of HP, and for those that actually cast spells, a long rest will then get you your spell slots back, which is what spellcasters generally would use for their larger spells, and you'll gain all your hit points back without having to spend your hit die, which is what you would use in a short rest. And we can explain that when it comes up. Then it would be JoJo's turn.
All right. So I've been pretty frustrated with the fact that we've all kind of been surprised in getting our asses handed to us, with the exception of Brian's recent hit. I decide. What's that?
You mean Jarrett's?
Yes. Sorry.
Hit the door. Jarrett hit the door.
I decided to use a melee attack, and I am going to punch this thing with my divine smite.
Wait, you're gonna add a divine smite to an unarmed attack?
Yes.
You do so much. Okay.
In the face.
Okay.
Even I know that's a bad idea, man.
It's happening.
All right, so go ahead and roll a d20, and you add 4 to that.
17.
That
Plus-
hits. So, yeah, I mean 17 already hits. So your unarmed strike deals 3 damage plus whatever your.
It says I can expend 1 spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant.
Yeah,
damage.
so it'll be 3 damage plus your divine smite damage.
This is a fucking weird game.
It is. So I roll these twice and add them up.
Yes. So roll. Well,
I got 10 to the target plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than first.
yeah. So you only have just the first level spell.
Okay. So I got 10 then.
Okay. So is that just the 2d8, or is that total with your 3 damage?
Oh, that's just the 2d8, so I guess total.
So 13. Okay. So this thing is really looking hurt, and just got punched in the face.
With a divine smite.
And yeah, I mean this punch hurt. It was a Bernie punch,
Uh-huh.
like a it's like a one-man punch, almost. So it is going to go ahead and hit you, Joran,
Dang it.
and misses.
Woo!
Like it was like swinging out at you and just was hurting from all that radiant holy light that came with your fist, and just totally whiffs it.
Damn right, game was best.
I'm standing there as it happened, blowing smoke off my knuckles like.
Like the end of like a cage fight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nobody does that at the end of a cage fight.
Whatever. And being very embarrassed, he just passes his turn along to Siler.
All right. Not one to be shown up, Siler you know, kind of whips his gun around. He's going to make a circle with it, charge it up again. And as he's bringing this flintlock down to shoot this thing right in the teeth again, he's going to say, knock, knock. And the bird's going to go, oh, he's not a bird right now, though. He's,
Who's there?
Who's there? Annie!
Anywho,
Anyway, you could let us in. And then I'm going to shoot it right in the teeth.
These are terrible jokes.
Maybe.
I love it.
12?
That
12 to hit.
just barely hits.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay, so grab my 10. 7 force damage straight in the teeth. I'm hoping that I can actually shatter off some teeth and it like has to eat those sharp pointy teeth like flying into the back of its throat.
No, it's definitely lost some teeth. This thing is looking very, very melted.
No.
Like,
Well, that's what you get for not laughing at me jokes.
like it seems like it's really losing its steam. It's lost chunks of goo. It's not looking good.
All right, and I'll pass the turn.
All right, Brian.
all right.
This door that was not a door that tried to bite you after your fist got stuck is not looking good. What do you do?
Well, I am gonna come in with my long sword this time. My very, very long sword.
Go do a stabby stab with your long. In the,
No, I'm
in
not
the
gonna
sticky
do a
goo.
stab.
Doesn't sound like a very good idea.
And so what I want to do is come at the bottom corner of the door.
I mean, it's not really a door shape anymore.
All right, I want to come at the bottom right side of the amorphous and come out the top left side of the amorphous.
Alrighty. Go ahead and make your attack roll to basically mom cut this sandwich. Mom sandwich cut this mimic.
Thing, mom sandwich or mob sandwich?
Mom, like MOM, like you
Like
always,
mother.
yeah, you mean the two triangles, like long ways.
Oh, you
or-
mean a grilled cheese?
Sure. I mean,
A grilled cheese has to be cut diagonally.
right?
Regular sandwich is cut in half.
I mean, I wanted every
But Amy
sandwich
is
cut.
dealer's choice.
I wanted every sandwich cut diagonally, but
Well, you're a fucking lunatic. Anyway, I
I mean, I
rolled a
don't care
14.
now. But when I was a kid, I was very adamant.
You should care about sandwiches, Aaron. Sandwiches are important.
Sandwiches are life.
They are life. They are life, Jared. In the middle of this fight, I looked Jared in the eye.
All right, sandwich cut the monster.
Fine.
Yeah, anyway, I got a 14.
That hits. Roll
Okay.
your damage.
Now, I rolled a... So it says damage 1d8 plus 3. Underneath, it says 1d10 plus 3.
So that would be if you are welding the, like if you're gonna hold the sword with two hands, you would deal the D10 damage. But you've got
Okay,
you've got
I
a
held
flail
the
in one and a
sword
sword
in
in the other.
Was that
You've got a flail in one hand and a sword in the other.
a fucking prick?
I mean, if you want to hold one of your weapons two-handed, you have to declare that at the beginning of the fight.
All right, I'll roll the d8 then. We roll a fucking 1 because I'm just fucking prick. 7.
On the die,
Yes.
then add +3 because of your. So it should be like 1d8 plus 3, I believe, right?
Yeah, 1d8 plus 3.
So 7 plus 3 is 10. So you have been fed up with this thing ever since it took your fist. Describe to me. That's a bad word. Poor wording. Anyway, Jarrett, describe to me how this sandwich cut kills this monster. What does it look like in your mind?
Well, let's see. Does anyone remember God, what was it? I don't even remember.
Sure, I remember that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So,
Do you remember?
if you were
I don't
to
either.
take Silly Putty,
Oh yes.
throw it in the air, and then hit it like a fruit ninja, how that would look. But as the right half of the Silly Putty was falling, I threw my fist in it again and fisted all the way through it.
Oh, you fist it. You
So it
fist it,
looked like you
Jarrett.
just punched Silly Putty and it all went everywhere.
You fist that silly putty, Jarrett.
I fisted the Silly Putty. I did.
All right, and yeah, so bits of gooey whatever have been
Goodness.
punched and sliced, and it just goes everywhere. And you have successfully destroyed this mimic.
Can we put in the Final Fantasy VII victory music?
I
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
awesome.
There you
so,
go.
Mimic is a very classic Dungeons and Dragons monster.
Is it?
Well, it was very classy of you to play him then. A
Listen,
class-
this is starting off with the dungeon. I'm gonna
Dragon?
all the classic. I mean, not yet. You guys would die.
It'd be a great way to die, yeah.
Like this early
All right.
on, you would die.
So Siler's gonna kind of take stock of things, look to see how everybody's doing. Is anybody bleeding?
I'm
mean,
pretty sure you were close to half, Jarrett.
What's that?
Your HP.
Yeah, I probably am. I lost most
You
of
said
the.
you were at 15, I think you said left.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's hurting.
I lost
Okay.
most of my fist into a jelly monster, so I'm not feeling great.
Okay. I'm going to walk over to Jarrett, and as I do, there's not tattoos. What's it called? Scarification?
Yes.
Like where there's almost etchings.
Yep.
On my right hand, from my elbow up, there's kind of these etchings of these weird runes that are gonna start to light up and glow, and I'm gonna just kind of put a hand on his back, pat him, and go, "There you go. I knew we could get through the door eventually. Never been
Eventually.
bested by a door, me." Yeah.
I'm gonna pause right here. Why is CJ going when I just ended my turn and JoJo goes after me?
So
There.
you killed it. So we're now out of initiative.
So I'm
So
gonna.
so basically, once you get into an attack initiative order, so each round, once through each person's turn in that round, is basically equivalent to 6 seconds real time.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah. Henceforth, Siler shall be known as the man who opened the door.
I opened
Open the door.
No.
And as I do, I'm going to heal you for 15 points.
So you're
Casting Cure Wounds, Aaron.
Okay.
So yeah, as I'm just kind of patting you on the back, these runes are lighting up, and kind of warmth washes over wherever it hit you. I don't know if we ever established that, and it's gonna kind of knit together the skin.
all right.
So
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Probably feels weird having your skin knit together like that. You probably haven't had anything like that happen before.
I don't know. I spent a summer in Thailand.
Oh god. Well, where's Thailand? What is that?
It's near Ireland. Anyway, I'm gonna turn to him and ask, "What are you doing to me?" And you didn't open the door. I did.
Well,
Matter of
semantics.
perspective.
From a certain point of view, I opened the door. I'm just saying, you know. When we go
Yeah.
telling the tale, maybe one of us opened the door. Maybe a different one did.
I'm gonna leave that for now. You, Starry Eyes, what the fuck is your deal?
I'm gonna
Starry
interrupt.
eyes.
All you did was look at the door. You didn't do a goddamn thing. Are you here to help us or are you here to hurt us?
Hey,
There you go, staring again.
hey,
Just fucking talk.
wait a minute. I tried. I threw my sword and I divine smited it. Now stop arguing and listen. We finished the aptitude test.
Did we?
Did I assume? What else more could there be? I
mean,
mean, I'm,
the door has not.
After the door.
I'm
Yeah.
a celestial.
So behind where the mimic was, there is an actual door there now.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
run up and open the
Bunch
door.
more behind the door.
The door
That's what doors do.
opens
They hide
freely.
shit.
What?
That's what doors do. They hide shit. So we're going to get something clear here, Starry. You're either going to help or you're going to fuck off out the real door.
And the one that I mean, you don't know what's behind the one that actually can open. The other one's still locked.
I
Yeah.
will unlock it.
I'm not actually looking. Oh wait, you said the door doesn't open?
No. So the wooden door, the real wooden door, does
Okay,
open,
well-
but you don't know what's behind it yet.
Okay,
But the
well,
big
while
metal door
that...
is still locked.
Okay. Yeah, so as that conversation was happening, I run and throw open the door, and I'd like y'all to observe. One of us opened the door.
Yes. You didn't actually, in fact, open the door, Jarrett. You punched a mimic.
What do we see through the door? I'm gonna go ahead and take a peek.
Siler, you run and throw open the door.
Mhm.
Did you guys want to do anything before you moved forward?
I want to shout no.
It's well, hang on. Let me see if he hears you or pays attention. He doesn't pay attention at all. He is just laser focused on. I have to be the one to open the door.
Siler disappears.
Par for the course.
Siler disappears through the door.
I take a moment to
Get all starry-eyed.
use what is it called?
Lay on hands, I believe.
Yeah, lay on hands and heal myself. I'm trying to find it here. Now, when it says down there 15/long rest and then current, it's at 15, but I can press minus.
Right, so you have basically a pool of 15 hit points, and you can heal yourself for any number of those, but that pool won't refresh until you take the long rest.
So what is a long rest? What do I do?
So effectively, a long rest, basically, you guys would take like a basically 8-hour rest. So it's probably sleeping, most likely. Like you would set up a camp and you would take a long rest. Is about 8 hours. A short rest can be anywhere from like 15 to half an hour, just to kind of recoup.
Well, I'm just gonna heal myself for 5 then.
Okay.
Back up to 20.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna step away for literally 10 seconds.
Okay. So Siler has run in through the door, despite Jarrett's warning. I have protest.
And then I'll walk through the door behind him.
Okay. Just casually.
Wait.
And Jarrett, you are alone in the room with bits of goo everywhere.
I'm going to mutter, "You fucking idiots," and continue
Sorry.
on through the door afterwards.
You're good. All right. So you see in this next room, it is dimly lit with smaller versions of the lights that were in the hallway before. There's smaller versions of that, just in kind of the corners of the room, just giving low, soft hues. And you see along the wall in front of you are 4 pedestals with an inscription above each one, and to the left is a round, sort of like a raised shelf that has different colored, a little like round, like marbles almost, that seem to give a faint glow.
What does the inscription say?
So the inscription says, above the first pedestal, it says, "In icy void, in an icy void, it all began." And above the second pedestal, it says, "But molten forms filled its span." And above the third, it says, "Violence sputtered as they met." And above the third one, it says, "Dust to dust when all is set."
Okay.
And so in the so those gems I was talking about in the little rack, you see 4 colors. You see a blue, like a orangish color. You see one that is tan, and one that is white.
Okay.
So blue, orange, like a light brown tan color, and a white. And they're like there's like 3 of each color.
All right. I'm gonna say, well, what are we to do with these, I wonder?
And each pedestal has a small little indentation in the center of it. It's like just like a small, thin pedestal that has an indentation that looks to be about the same size as those tiny little spheres that are glowing. And I can read that. I can read that inscription kind of all together, flowing. So basically, it reads, "In icy void, it all began, but molten forms filled its span. Violence sputtered as they met, dust to dust when all is set." And there is no discernible exit other than the door that you came in.
All right, I'm going to ask Joran if he has any fire-based magic.
Me?
Are you Joran?
Yeah, but
And you?
I'm talking to CJ, so I'm a little surprised. I don't think I do.
All of your magic is radiant-based, which is the type of damage.
So I'll respond by saying, well, I don't have any fire per se, but I could make a...
Burn with the holy light.
I could burn you with a holy light of fire.
Okay. Blue boy, I think you should grab the blue one.
It's because I'm blue, isn't it?
What?
It's because I'm blue, isn't it?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right.
You should take the blue one, especially considering the insignia says that it's frost-based, and I saw you freeze when my fist was stuck in the door.
No, I didn't. As a note, when he says no, he didn't, he is still covered in like permafrost. He has not dropped that spell. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just like Jack Frost, just like a little bits of ice in his eyebrows and
Yeah.
hair bits.
Could have
Looks
been
like he was
anyone.
stuck out in the Minnesota snow.
Anyway, blue boy, you grab the blue door.
What is it that you're planning?
There's no doors other than the one you came in.
The pole? What?
They're
What?
like
Pedestal.
pedestals, like small, like thin pedestals with
Okay,
indentations in
you
it.
grab the thin blue pedestal,
The pedestals aren't colored. They're
Go ahead and grab the.
They're like
So
marble-sized gem. Like.
Are you
little
asking me to
spheres.
grab the gems or the first pedestal, like go up on it?
I'm gonna ask you to go up on it.
Okay. I'm gonna do it, but as I do, I'm gonna pull my eye patch up to reveal a kind of a silvery metal eye that has been implanted in my eye socket. And I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Is that like what's his doof in Harry Potter?
Yeah, actually, very similar. If you want to think Mad Eye Moody, yeah.
Yeah.
The metal eye allows me to kind of see the currents of magic in my area, so I'm just gonna check out the pedestal before I hop on it.
Yeah, I
Good
mean
plan.
there are threads of magic laced throughout the room. Specifically, almost like conduits leading to each pedestal that run from there to the wall across from where the also a pedestal, but it's got like a shelf, storage shelf. So across from that, so to the right of the room from where you entered.
Well, I was thinking I was going to use my divine sense to see if there was any sort of like direction coming off of this magic that would give us, you know.
So
which...
divine sense wouldn't really tell you that. I think it just tells you if there's a presence of any evil, fae, or fiend.
Okay. Well, then never mind then.
That might let you know that I'm there.
True. You cast that and Sylar kind of pings lightly in your senses.
I'm
I
like,
sneeze.
As a fiend.
You sneeze.
Like divine sense, achoo.
I feel tingly all of a sudden. Oh, wait, no. It's gone now. Never mind. Well, gents, let me tell you. These pedestals... Or no, it's not the pedestals, it's the shelves, isn't it?
Yeah, so the little
Okay.
like little small marble like gems that are glowing are in this little round storage shelf.
Okay.
Cylindrical.
Sylar has something to tell you. These shelves are locked into something that's going to happen over there. Clearly, we need to manipulate them in some way.
We will, but we need to figure out which shells belong to which. I'm obviously the most violent. You're obviously the coldest. So, Joran, grab the fiery one.
All right.
Go to the fiery one. Excuse me.
I don't agree with this, but I will follow.
Good plan.
All right. I will grab the... You wanted me to grab the white or the blue?
The blue one, I believe.
Okay, I'll grab the blue ones and go to the first pedestal that talked about ice.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So there are four. So when you first walk in the room, directly ahead of you were four pedestals, each with an inscription above it, which creates that verse: "In icy void it all began, but molten forms filled its span. Violence sputtered as they met, dust to dust when all is met, or all is set." And each one of those lines is above each pedestal. And then to your left was like a cylindrical shelf containing 3 of each color of blue, orange, tan, and white.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, to amend myself, I'm going to suggest that Sylar grab the blue, Joran grab the orange, I'll grab the tan, and we'll go to our respective pedestals.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
I do so.
Sylar goes to the ice one. Joran, you go to the one that talks about the lava.
Yes.
Okay, and Jarrett, you're going to the 4th pedestal. It talks about dust to dust.
No, the third one talked about violence.
Oh, okay, with the tan one.
Yes.
Okay, and you put them in the pedestal.
Yep.
Okay. So what about the nothing happens when you put the 3 in there, and the 4th pedestal remains empty.
So
How many marbles are in each color?
There's 3 of each color, so there's 4 colors, 4 pedestals, 3 of each marble.
So I suggest we each grab one of the 3 marbles from the white and put them in simultaneously.
Okay.
Okay.
Jordan?
let's do it.
All right, you
Do it.
do so, and nothing happens.
Fuck!
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Oh, wait, did we put all the
No.
marbles of each color in the pedestal?
No, you have tried to put marbles in only 3 pedestals at each time.
What?
Out of all the pedestals?
You've only tried to put 3 marbles in 3 of the pedestals at each time you've tried.
Okay, well, let's put each respective marble in each respective pedestal.
We did that.
Well,
For
What
only
if we
3 of
s-
them. You
Yeah.
never filled all 4 pedestals.
Fill all 4. I'm gonna go take the last one to the 4th one.
Okay, so currently there are 3 white in the first 3 pedestals.
What?
Based on the last decision you guys made, there are 3. So there's a white marble in the first one in each of the first 3 pedestals. Currently,
That's not what I brought up.
you said you each grab a white one and put it in your pedestal.
And
oh,
go
I see.
to the white pedestal and put it in.
Oh, there's
one-
only okay. So yeah, there's only room for 1 marble.
Okay, so we're gonna take each
So let's.
marble that matches each pedestal's color and put 1 marble of each matching color in each pedestal.
Okay, so 1 marble of each color. What is the order you're putting them in?
I've got an idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna go blue in the first, orange in the second. I'm gonna go white in the third, and then tan in the 4th.
All right. As you place the 4th marble, you feel some slight rumbling, and just hear like stone cracking almost, and a door opens on the blank wall where you saw the sort of conduits of magic leading.
Lo and behold, for I am the man who opened the door.
This time, yeah.
Every time.
Siler. Is it Siler or Silas?
Siler.
Siler. I look at Siler and say, "Do not be proud, Blue One. Do not know what you have done."
Oh, I know exactly what I've done. I've opened the door not once, but twice.
I look at the 2 of them and say, "Shall we go on?"
Indeed, we shall.
Like almost getting like Jeffrey Rush's character in Pirates. I forget the
Barbosa?
Yes, you almost get
Yeah.
that kind of a feel.
Yeah, well, so you want to know what this character's voice is supposed to be? It's supposed to be Barbosa's, like, speech pattern,
Like
like where
his
he puts his
inflections?
pauses. Yeah, his inflection with Egret from Game of Thrones accent, and it just turned out Irish.
It is actually the recipe for Irish.
I guess so.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so let's go tromping through the door.
Okay, so aside from the very symmetrical shape of the doorway that appeared, The room you entered is very natural. It looks like a natural underground cave. It's probably 40 by 40 square in shape, and looks like there is like naturally glowing stone that illuminates it dimly. It's a very dark room, and you see one large stalactite hanging from the ceiling, and you see a door across the chasm on the other side. I don't say chasm, but like across the cave.
So
How high up is the stalactite?
Probably 40 feet.
I'm gonna
30,
cast
40
a,
feet.
I'm gonna cast a light spell so we can see this area better.
Okay. Yeah, it's, illuminated. You can kind of see, it's just a rocky, wet cave floor, with a couple small stalactites hanging from the ceiling, and just one larger one in the middle.
Do I know if this is like abnormally big? Like, is it notable that it's way bigger than, or does it look natural?
It's the only one that size. It looks natural. You can roll me a perception check if you would like.
I would like 16 plus nothing. 16.
Okay. With a 16, you are inspecting this larger stalactite, and it looks completely natural, but it's almost like it's a copy of itself to make it longer. So like if you think of like Photoshop, if you're like slice part of an image and like extend it out and like over top of something, it kind of looks like that. So it looks almost like the exact same thing, just extended over itself.
I have a question.
To make it longer. Yes.
Who between Sylar and Joran are lighter?
Lighter? Like heavy?
Lighter, weight-wise.
Joran, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to turn to Joran and say this. All right. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to put your foot in my hand, and I'm going to throw you up high enough so you can touch that thing. And we're going to see what happens.
All right.
I want to roll a persuasion.
Real
You're going to
quick,
try and persuade Joran to let you do this?
Yes.
real quick, just since I have detect magic going in the metal eye, is that tripping anything before they do this? Like, that I would say something?
If it would trip... Wait, what?
So I've still got detect magic going.
Right.
Am I seeing anything that would lead me to believe that this is a bad idea?
The stalactite does not look magical.
Or okay, cool. Then Sylar does nothing.
All right. So, I mean, I guess so. You would roll for persuasion, Jarrett, and Jordan, if you feel like, you know, his role and whatever he, you know, however he pitches this to you, persuades you. I mean, that's up to, it's between you two.
All right.
Jared, persuade me. Jared.
All right, look, here's the thing. I'm like 11 feet tall. I'm gonna catch you. I'm super duper strong.
He's not 11 feet tall.
Fuck off, DM. I don't need you right now. I'm gonna catch you. It's gonna be fine.
Okay.
I just need you to jump up and touch that. I touched the door for us.
There.
I risked one of my hands so that you two could survive. I
Like
need
you knew.
All right.
to jump up.
You know what? You convinced me.
I didn't have to roll for that. Shit. All right, let's do this.
Yes.
I mean, the roll didn't really have anything to do other than to help Jordan decide if he was persuaded. That was totally up to Joe to
No,
decide that.
I'm persuaded. I
Okay.
put my.
So you're trying to basically do like a spring jump or something?
Yeah.
Essentially, remember when you used to do those backflips out of our
Right.
hands?
Yeah, so like that, just to give an extra
That's-
boost to jump high.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull
Okay.
out my long sword while I'm jumping, and I'm gonna slice the crap out of this stalactite.
Okay. All right. So, good lord, Jarrett, I need you to roll a strength athletics check.
All right. That's a D20, right?
Yep, and then plus whatever your modifier is for that.
+5. Got 18 plus 5.
All right, that's okay. Excellent. You've got this. So
I know I do.
Joran, you kind of get a running start. You know, put a foot into Jarrett's hands as he launches you in the air. I need you to roll a dexterity acrobatics check to see if he just like chucks you and you lose your footing, or if you actually like stick the landing in his hands and get this jump right.
Ah! My dexterity is +0. I got a 6.
Oh no! Okay.
I'm a clumsy motherfucker.
All right,
Can I
so
do this one? Because I'm pretty sure I just threw Joran horizontally the rest of the way into
No,
the...
I've never been thrown before.
so,
What?
yeah, so okay, so Jarrett pitched this idea. He sweet talked you into letting him launch you into the air, and you're like, yeah, okay. So you do this, and he launches you, and the force, like the strength is the force of which he throws in the air, like makes you lose your balance. And so instead of like launching up heroically with your sword, you just like flail in the air, like you're like straight up like starfish, like into the stalactite, and you take from the impact 1 damage.
What?
Yes, 1 damage. I rolled a d6 and I rolled a 1.
Nice.
And upon being struck, the stalactite, that bottom half that looked like it was copied, drops to the floor.
I knew it would.
And, and starts to move.
Fucking
And
doors.
it looks like a land squid almost, like
like a kraken?
like not like no, like look at like a stalactite moved like a squid.
Can I make a I guess a nature check to see if I've ever seen anything like this?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a nature check.
10 plus 1, 11.
Okay, so you don't know a whole lot, but you have heard of creatures called dark mantles. They basically can give a false appearance, like anything. They basically will hide on like high up in ceilings where they can drop, and they can basically, as long as they remain motionless, disguise themselves and basically be indistinguishable from a cave formation, such as a stalactite or stalagmite. So they tend to hang up and drop, or sometimes they will stay on the ground and disguise themselves as a stalagmite.
Okay. In a fit of brilliance, Sylar will convey the obvious. It likes to hang from the ceiling and drop on people.
Jared will convey the obvious. No shit, Sherlock.
But being as Jorn was flung into this thing, it didn't actually get its chance to prey and drop on anyone. It is now just on the floor in front of you and begins to move. So I would like you all to roll initiative.
D20?
Yep.
Oof. Ooh.
Bro,
Ooh.
it's not worse than mine.
You're right, it's not, but it's not good.
What'd you guys get?
4.
2? I got 8
CJ
plus 2.
got 4. And Brian, you said you got what?
8 plus 2, so 10.
10. Okay.
Wow. We did not do super.
And Joran?
2.
2? Oh, good lord.
As we are just dumbfounded. And yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Siler's just stating the obvious, like not even considering that it might be aggressive.
Right.
I'm sitting on the ground just praying as if we're not even there.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so the Dark Mantle, surprise, surprise, will go first. It got an 18 on its initiative. So it is going to go after Joran, knowing that it was the one that hit it.
I didn't know such thing.
Whatever.
I was tricked.
And
You were convinced.
yeah, you were persuaded. You even said that he persuaded you. Like, you can't really fault him for that.
I was deceived.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
you were convinced.
I don't know convinced.
okay, so
Let's move on.
yeah, he's going to try and crush you, Joran. And there's 19 hits, I think, right? It's like, I rolled a 14, it gets a +5 to hit. Okay, so he does 6 damage, and it is basically going to launch at you, and it attaches to your head, and your head is engulfed in it. So you are now blinded and currently unable to breathe while it's attached. So
6 points?
yeah, so 6 points of damage. And basically, I mean, you can hold your breath for, I think, minutes times your, so like a minute times whatever your strength or constitution, I think.
Oh, so 2 minutes. I don't really need to breathe. I do it because it looks good.
Right. Either way, you're going to have to try and get this thing off of you if you want to attack. So, it is then going to be Jarrett's turn.
Okay.
Careful. Be careful.
So, let me clarify. It's an action to put my flail away if I want to strike something two-handed with my longsword.
Right. So, being as this is the beginning of the battle, if you want, you can declare that you are going into battle with dual wielding, like using both hands on your longsword.
Okay. Clear. Now, to use my fire rune, I don't need to have the particular weapon that's attached to drawn, correct?
Right. It's just described on a piece of armor or a weapon, and then you can basically, I think it's a bonus action to invoke those runes. Let me look at your sheet here. Where is it? It's under your actions. So your rune. Oh no! So it's when you hit a creature with your weapon, you can invoke that. So if you make an attack and you hit, you can then invoke those shackles.
Gotcha. And I can use an action and an attack in the same turn. Right?
So your attack is your action. So you have a move action, and then you have like an attack action, and then a bonus action. Are the 3 types of things you can do on your turn.
All right. So, am I allowed to put my flail away and then swing at this fucking thing with my long sword?
Yes. So you are going to battle with 2 hands on your sword.
On my sword. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm swinging at the thing, hopefully, but not terribly concerned with missing Jordan's head.
Oh God.
And I'm going to swing my long sword at it, using CJ. You'll understand this. Well, Aaron too. Jordan, you might not understand this. Using an approach that is something like a tornado kick that Tai used to really like. I'm going to go into the steps and then jump, and we'll see what I roll.
You're gonna basically do, instead of like a kick, you're gonna like go into this movement with a big old swing of your sword.
Yeah, so basically I'm throwing all my momentum into the sword, doing a 360 side flip or something, some fucking shit like that, and taking all that momentum and throwing that into the strike. We'll see if I decapitate Jordan.
Yeah, just beware. Yeah, you don't want to roll a nat 1 on this one.
You didn't.
You rolled a nat 1, didn't you?
You didn't.
No, I rolled a 13.
Okay.
Jordan's over there with his thing on his head, sweating like, oh God, oh God.
And then I have a +5 on the long sword.
That hits. You hit it.
I know I hit it. Did I decapitate Jordan, though? Do we need to?
No, you hit this thing right in the center of its, like, carapace, I guess? I don't know what you would call it. It's stony.
Critical mass?
What?
It's critical mass?
Yes. So go ahead and roll your damage. So D10 plus 3.
Yes. Where's my 10? That has an 11 on it. It's probably another 10.
Well, it's one of your D10s, but that's so you've got 2 D10s. One's double digits for rolling percentage. So your D10 will look very like disc shaped.
Like this?
No, that's a D8.
No.
Let's count your sides. One side. 2,
Right.
2 sides.
Got it.
All right.
This one.
3 sides.
Yes. That one. You'll have 2 of
Alright.
those. One will have double digits.
Good. It fell off the table. Fuck me.
No, they're not.
5, I guess.
So
That's
you rolled 2.
I rolled a 2 and then +3.
All right. So 5 damage. And Jordan, you feel the force of this thing. Like you probably stagger probably 5 feet back from just the force of this thing hitting your head, and probably have a headache too. But no damage is done to you. But this, this thing took all the force, but you definitely felt it.
That's rough. That's rough.
Sorry, bud.
Burning it.
All right.
Gotta do what I
so
do.
next, so would you say probably Siler with the shenanigans of throwing you probably in the back of the group?
Yeah, or at least off to the side a little bit.
Okay.
But not. I mean, I'm still on hand.
Sure.
5 to 10 feet away, not farther.
Does 13 hit your armor class?
It does not.
Okay. So from behind you, you feel something unsettling, almost like there's something behind you that tried to kind of glom onto you.
Oh, is it like slimy?
No. But
Okay.
if you turn and look, you basically in this dim light you will
do
see
so.
a very, very dark, almost hard to see in this dim light, somewhat humanoid looking, like it's almost like a shadow that's moving.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
And it just tried
Does it
to-
look corporeal or is it like misty?
Yes. I mean, it doesn't look like it's like is quite as just evaporative as like mist, but it doesn't seem like it's. I mean, would be like a solid matter necessarily.
Yeah, like could I run through it? It looks like something I could go
I mean, you
through,
probably wouldn't go
kinda.
through it, but it probably wouldn't be the most solid thing in the world. Like it looks like it's like just like
Okay.
like an actual shadow, but it's moving 3-dimensionally.
Okay, sounds good.
And then kind of just realizing it's failed, it recoils a little bit. Obviously not like standing like right in your face, but we'll kind of just
Mhm.
back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is going to be your turn. Silent.
Okay, so what I will do is, feeling weird that this ghosty boy is here, I'm gonna go ahead, pull the pistol out, and with my pinky I'm gonna trace a circle on my hand. There's gonna be a black spot that kind of develops in the middle of my hand, this inky black spot. Then I'm gonna put it here and just kind of blow it like this, and this ink is gonna snake its way out and try to glom onto whatever that shadow thing was. I can still see it. Yes.
Okay. Yes. And so stylistically, what is this?
This
attack?
is hex.
Hex. Okay.
This will be hex. There is no save for it, if I'm not mistaken.
And what does this do?
So what this is gonna do is anytime I land an attack on the target, I get 1d6 necrotic damage. And I'm also gonna choose an ability score, and the target has disadvantage on checks of
Okay.
that ability.
So when you deal, so when does it take the necrotic damage?
Anytime I deal damage to it, I can add 1d6
extra.
to
Okay,
my
so you add extra.
damage.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it itself doesn't do damage,
And
but
is hex
every
in-
turn it adds.
Is hex an action or is that a?
It's a bonus.
Okay. So go ahead and make your
Indeed.
attack.
So, as these little tendrils are snaking out and trying to ensnare it, I'm going to pull my pistol level, and I'm going to say, "What killed the dinosaurs?
Oh.
The Ice Age!"
Wow.
And I'm gonna channel some frosty power into my gun because, as aforementioned, I am a terrible shot. So I'm gonna cast Ray of Frost,
Ray of Frost.
Ray of Frost into the gun, and then pull the trigger. So basically, I'm shooting a giant icicle
Alright,
at
is
this
that an
thing.
attack roll or is that a saving throw?
That is an attack roll, I believe.
And is Ray of Frost a cantrip?
Yes. Yeah, so we've got 16, 21 to hit.
Oh, that totally misses. No, I was kidding.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah, 21 definitely hits.
All right.
So roll your cold damage.
So 6 cold damage.
Okay. Which doesn't seem to be as effective as you expected it to be.
Okay. And then for the hex damage, there's another 2 necrotic.
That doesn't seem to do anything to it. It seems like it's unaffected by whatever your hex
Really?
did.
Son of a bitch.
I mean, this is a dark shadow, so the fact that necrotic damage didn't seem to do much to it does not surprise you a whole lot.
Oh. I'm very unsurprised by the situation.
like you make your attack and like, oh, right, yes,
Right.
that makes sense.
All right, and that's what I've got.
All right, and then Joran, you need to. Basically, your head is inside this thing.
Yes.
And you basically need to make a strength check to basically detach this thing from your head. So it's D20 plus your strength modifier.
So plus, not the big number, but the plus number.
Yes.
D20
Yep.
plus that. So in total, I got 13.
Ooh, you struggle, and like it almost seems like this thing is not gonna come off, but like right when you were about to just like give up pulling this thing off, it and it's like pops off your head.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this stalactite creature thing, and I am going to huck it, chuck it, football at the freaking shadow monster thing behind CJ.
So,
with
yeah.
it, hell.
So detaching this thing from your head is your action, but I mean you can move away from it. Unless you don't have any bonus actions, do you?
Where would I see that?
It would be listed under your actions. It would tell you. Under your.
No, just 2 weapon fighting. So
Okay.
I will move next to CJ, seeing this creature behind him.
Leaving Jared alone with the dark mantle. All right. So, speaking of which, the dark mantle will then go after Jarrett, being as he's the only one next to it.
Wonderful.
And it is going to try and crush you and suck your head.
And what?
Suck your head.
It's going to try and attach itself over your head like it did to Joran. So it launches at your head, and you just kind of like turn and just like flies past you. And it missed. It rolled a 6.
Oh, okay.
11 does not hit your armor class, so.
Got
And then
So
it
can I hit
is
that then?
what?
Can I hit that now?
It is your turn. So yes, if you want to hit it, you can.
Okay, I want to hit that.
Rock
It wants to
breaker.
suck your
Time
head,
to
and you
earn
want to
your
hit that.
keep.
Yeah, wow. I mean, can you blame me?
What do you do
Anyway.
into a dark cave?
Yeah, so I'm going to swing my very, very long sword at it to hit that. And I rolled a 9 with my strength.
Plus 3 is 12. Oh no, it's plus 5 to a hit, I think, right?
Yeah, plus 5.
Oh yeah, no, that hits. That totally hits. So
And
deal your
I want
damage.
to use the fire rune.
On the dark mantle?
Yeah.
Okay. So deal your damage, and then we'll do your fire rune.
Fucking, what was the damage one again? 8?
It's a D10 because you're doing it two-handed, right?
Yeah.
So it's a D10 plus 3.
Where's my D10? Eight plus 3, so 11?
11 damage. This thing is not looking well.
And then I've got 2d6 for the fire rune.
Right, so when you invoke this, How do you imagine this looks when you do this?
Not like I thought when I selected the fire rune. Basically, my thought would be almost U-bolts, getting stuck down inside and outside of the creature into the ground.
Okay. Like, what do you mean
That's
inside
really
and outside the
inventive.
creature?
So, a U-bolt, looks like a U.
Right.
Go figure the name. Or I guess a lowercase n bolt would be more accurate. But basically, there's one stake in the flesh and one stake outside.
Okay.
And that all lodges into the ground like schmack.
Gotcha. Okay, so for this, it needs to make a strength saving throw. And your saving throw number that need to hit your DC is 12, I believe.
Where would I find that? And
So under your actions, where it talks about your fire rune, it tells you what it does. It should say like it needs to make a strength saving throw, I think. And
hit /DC?
Yeah, DC.
Okay.
I think it's 12. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, correct.
Okay. So he's going to it's 3. Oh, that's a 7. So he fails his strength saving throw, and so he does indeed take the damage. And it's how much?
The damage?
Yes.
2d6.
All right. Roll your damage.
A d6?
So yeah, roll it twice and add them together.
I got a 6. And do I roll it again?
You would, but that is enough. So
Okay.
when these U-bolt shackle things that you have learned to bring forth with this rune, what does it look like when it kills it? So when they come out and stick in on the other side and pin it, when it deals this fire damage and kills this thing, what does it look like?
I hadn't really thought about that.
Well, just in this moment, describe to me what you think it would look like for it to deal fire damage.
Do you know what a masonry nail is?
Oh, what?
A masonry nail is.
Is that where it's got like ridges and so it sticks into the stone?
It's got ridges and it also is a
Ruffles
very
have
long
ridges.
triangle. So it expands as
Okay.
it is inserted. And so in my mind,
Expand
What?
what's inserted.
So in my mind, these U-bolts come down and stick on all points of this thing.
Right.
And one big masonry nail comes in at the center and severs its brainstem or whatever. Jordan, quit fucking texting.
My pregnant wife, so no.
She's right,
all right, yeah.
there. I can see her
So,
feet behind
Yeah.
you.
So these things,
No.
yeah. So these shackles basically pin it down, and this nail just hits it, and the metal, which is odd for metal, just lights on fire and just burns this thing to a crisp, and it is dead. Deadsies Gonzo. Nevermore. And then it is the Shadow's turn, and it is going to continue to try and glom onto you.
But I killed it.
No, the Shadow.
Oh.
The lag
The
type.
thing coming after me.
Gotcha.
God, I missed again.
Shadow ain't full of shit.
I rolled a 5. Okay. Yeah.
As it comes after me, I kind of dancingly get out of its way and just kind of stand there like this.
Right.
Eh. And its eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming.
All right. So then it is your turn, Siler.
All right. Well, as I'm reciting, Edgar Allan Poe, as I come to the demon that is dreaming, I'm going to bring up my pistol, and this time I'm going to channel Divine Light into the flintlock, pull back that hammer, and let fly with just a blinding flash of light. Sacred Flame, it gets a DC 13 save.
Okay.
Dex.
What kind of save?
Dex.
Dex. Okay. Dex is +2. 16
Yeah, that's
on the money. Okay.
yeah.
So yes, it saves. It deftly and swiftly just steps out of the way of this beam.
All right. Siler's
And-
just gonna kind of tauntingly go, and he ends his turn.
Do you want Mastermind to do anything?
I don't know. No, not right now.
Cool. Then
He's
it
just
is-
kind of chilling.
cool. Joran, you have run to the aid of your new pirate acquaintance, and there basically is Peter Pan's nightmare in front of you.
Yes. So I'm going to. Well, I don't know if
In
this.
a bed? It looks like you're fucking exhausted.
Oh, I'm terribly exhausted. I don't know if this was possible, but I kind of want to use my longsword to reflect my spell light, and kind of the reflection forces it into a beam and then shoots it at the shade, kind of like what CJ had, but
Well, so is you talking about doing a divine smite, or what do you?
I guess I could do that. Could I add that to my longsword attack?
Yes, that's what yeah. So a divine smite. Anytime you make a hit with a weapon, you can then do your divine smite. So
Okay,
you can attack it with your sword, and if you hit, you can choose to make it a divine smite, and then channel your holy light.
This is gonna be my thing. I'm just gonna channel the holy light and summon Torm and freaking blast this guy with the divine smite of my longsword.
Okay, so first make your sword attack.
D20, yeah.
Guys. So D20 plus, I think you also have a.
I got a fucking 5!
I totally thought you were gonna say nat 20.
I need to start rolling on something different. No, oh, okay, yeah,
All
I
right.
go.
So, what do you? Yeah, I guess you. I mean, I think you have a +5 to your attack.
Well, what's my normal attack? Oh, so that'd be 9.
Okay, yeah, no, that doesn't do it. So you try and swing your sword at this thing, and because it's dark and this thing's a shadow, you don't quite connect with it.
I've been praying too much, not fighting enough. Obvious.
Jarrett, you see your two new buddies facing off with a shadow.
Oh, I just go on down the hall. No.
I'm out. I've done my kill.
Outie.
Yeah. Let's see. So, does it have to be I can move over to where they are? as an
Yeah.
action. Right?
No, so you have its own phase, I guess, of your combat of your turn. So you have your movement, you have your action, which for you would be an attack, or any sort of main like feat you want to do, and then your bonus action if you have a bonus action, which I think you'll have more later as a fighter. But so you have your movement, and then your attack is separate from that. So if you want, you can move over to them.
Okay, I would like to move over to them, obviously, where
Okay.
the enemy is.
Do you want to stand next to them, or do you kind of want to block this shade in, the shadow in, so he's in between you guys?
How are they positioned?
So the shade, basically, the shadow, I keep saying shade, it's called the shadow. The shadow basically popped up behind Sylar and tried to basically give it a big old shadow hug, but missed, and so he turned around. So it is kind of behind you, and when Joran got the thing off of his head, he basically ran to his side and tried to take a swing at it. So if you want, you can kind of walk around behind it, so he's between you two, and basically flank it, which will give you advantage on your attack.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so roll your d20 twice and take the higher, and then add your attack.
And that's just my move, right?
So just your movement, and then you'll make your attack.
Okay.
So your movement is to get behind the thing and flank it, and then you can use your attack to make your damage. You'll make that attack with advantage because you're flanking it.
Gotcha. My high was 17. Do I need to add anything to that?
You'll add 5, which that's totally fine. That's plenty to hit it.
Gotcha. So let's see. That was
So roll your d10 and add 3.
and add 3. That was 8.
With is that 8 on the die?
No, 8. Total.
Okay, so 8 total. So you slash this thing with your sword, and it does not seem to be as effective as your sword normally is when you cut something.
That's bullshit.
But it does deal probably, you would think, half of what your sword normally does.
Okay.
But it is starting to look less like a shadow and more like it's trying to hold on to its form. So it's looking hurt. And it is top of the order. Or sorry, you were the top of the order. It is now the Shadow's turn, and it once again is gonna try and glom onto you. Good lord, I am rolling like shit tonight. I think I rolled an 8, a 5, and then a 4 for the stupid thing.
Wonderful.
Oh, God. Okay. This shadow is just gonna cry in shame in its afterlife.
As it does, I'm once again gonna kind of dance out of the way. This time I'm gonna take my hat off to it like this. Just oh.
Okay, this is going in dice jail. And it is your turn, Sylar.
All right, so hat off, and then we'll do from hell's heart I stab at thee. And we're gonna level out the flintlock again, channel in that divine light, and blast it with a big old white laser.
All right, and it's the save, right?
Yeah, dex save. It needs a 13.
I think it does. Oh, jeez, bounced right out of my dice tray. Ooh, it rolled a natural 1.
Ooh, wonderful. Well, then it takes 8 points of radiant damage.
Ooh, I believe.
And it gains no benefit from cover.
So, it tries to hit you. It has tried multiple times and failed utterly. And as you aim this flintlock pistol at it, it pretty much just bows its head in shame. Tell me what it looks like when this beam of radiant light just eviscerates the shadow.
I think as it goes through, it seems to rip the shadow itself into almost ghostly looking fabric, which then kind of flutters off and falls to the ground. And I will turn to the rest of the party and say, "Behold, for I am Sylar Sanderwick, opener of doors and killer of shadows."
Opener of doors and killer of shadows. I like it. Wow, that's hilarious.
Jesus.
You started
this-
this, Jarrett.
No, he did. He didn't open the door.
I've opened 2 doors for the record.
So let's walk through this door.
I don't think one's opened yet.
Well, so it's not open, but there is a door at the other end of this cavern.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the door and I'm gonna just rip it off at seams.
Already, starry eyes? You don't want to try and threaten anybody or anything?
Nope. I've lost all these battles and now I'm mad. So,
How mad are you, Jordan? How mad are you?
roll and find out. 11.
11?
You're 11 mad.
I'm 11.
11 mad. Alrighty.
1 mad, 2 mad, 3 mad, 4 mad.
Alright. So, are you guys going to make your way to the door?
Fuck no.
How's everybody's health doing?
I think that was a... Okay, so you mastered and just skipped right through the first room. And I rolled like shit on this room. Like, it was the only good thing I was able to do was actually hit Joran and get the thing on his head. Everything other than that was total shit. So I think you guys are doing all right. I think the only real damage I did was the 1 damage to you when you got hit, when you hit the thing, and then the little bit of damage that I did when it actually got in your head, Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I think everyone else was untouched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay.
What was
So I would love to get some spell slot back. So I'm gonna propose a short rest here, like we take a quick, breather.
You don't get spell slots on a short rest, I don't think.
Warlocks do.
Do they? Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the trade-off with warlocks. They've
You have
got
less spell slots, but you can recover them on short rests.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got less spell slots, but they come back on a short rest, and they always cast at highest level.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, cool.
Sylar is Sylar will. I propose a toast to our victory. He's gonna pull out a wineskin and start passing it around, and just short rest if that's okay with everyone.
How much is a short rest?
Like 15 to 30 minutes.
How long is a long rest?
8 hours.
Like sleeping.
That's a fucking huge gap.
Yeah.
Right, well,
15
right. So a
years
short,
later.
a short rest is meant for like this kind of situation right now, where you're, in between fights in a dungeon, and you just need to catch a breather. A long rest basically is like the end of the day to recover from a big battle. So, for the short rest, for those that aren't at full health, you can spend a hit die to recover some health.
What is that?
So, I believe for a short rest, you have looks like a total of 3 hit die. So in D&D Beyond, well, I have the mobile version up right now.
Yeah, it's 1d10 plus 1.
Yeah, and you can do that. You have a total of 3 until a long rest. So you can basically roll that d10 and add 2 for each time, each one of those you want to. If you have 3 of them, and you can add that plus 2 to each roll.
Well, there's one that says recover maximum HP changes during this reset or rest.
Yeah, so like if you had something that like lowered your maximum HP,
Oh,
like an effect, that would recover.
All right, so I'm rolling the d10.
And you have a d10 as well, Jared, but I think you're at full health, aren't you?
Wow, I got 1.
Plus 2,
1.
so that's 3.
No, it's 1d10 plus 1, right?
Plus 2, I think.
Mine says plus 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're
so 2, and then you can roll another hit die. So mark them off as you roll them.
good. 4 plus 1, so 5, and that'll put me at max.
All right, cool.
All right, I got one question, Eric. Well, I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
First of all, how important is it to the other players to know my inventory, specifically the thing that you put in there that nobody knows about yet?
As important as you want to make it.
Okay, we might have a sidebar later.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you want to use it and not say anything about it, you can totally do that.
All right.
Like if you want to take that wineskin and do what you want to do with it, and not say anything about that item, you totally can.
Let's just say I brought my own.
With you?
I brought my own liquid with me and cheers the wineskin, but drink my own fluid.
Sure. Yeah.
To you, CJ or Sailor.
What's that?
Whatever.
Siler. He's
Siler.
basically gonna take his. I mean, yeah. If you want, yeah.
You passed around your wineskin. I cheersed you, but drank my own fluid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically, he's
we'll
got his
move
own
on.
flask.
I don't think anything weird of it.
All right. And so you guys are feeling a little better. You've recovered a little bit, and do you want to go through the door?
Yeah, I think we
All right.
should.
You guys enter this room, and as you do, the dim light in the ceiling brightens. And as it does so, you hear a, "Well, you have made it. I have been watching." And you see a,
Drag queen.
you see this floating green monster with one eye in the middle of its head and 4 stalks coming off of the back of it. Looks something like this. You can see that. And that is where we're going to end.
Cliffhangers. Nice.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will be back next week.
We'll get better.
Yes.
No, we won't.
This is what happens when you put 2 new guys in who've never played. I mean, this is literally the first time they've ever played D&D. So, they're learning, but they're doing well. It's been fun. It's a learning
Get 'em
process,
there.
but
Yeah, we're doing imagination games as adults.
Indeed.
it's fun. So, alrighty. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.